Hi, Angie Bosley, your Icase president. I'm here today with Mr. Joe Quiz. He is the Indiana Icase president-elect. So, Joe, I've heard there's this new add-on licensure program called Asset. What is it?
Yeah, Angie. So ASSET stands for the Aspiring Statewide Special Education Teacher Program, and it is a new license add-on option that Icase has authored and has been approved for through the State Department of Education for the next 3 years. So we will be offering this to any currently licensed educator in the state of Indiana, where they can add on either the intense or the mild or both to their currently existing license. So we're pretty excited about this.
That's amazing. Wow, I love it. So tell me more about the program. Like, what is it? Say I have teachers or friends that are interested. What is this program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we kind of teased it out to begin with, but this program is specifically for currently licensed educators in the state of Indiana. What we have gotten approved is that we can help these people add on the intense or the mild interventions piece, or both of those, once again, to their current Indiana license. Again, Icase has been at the forefront of helping with the teacher shortage and the emergency permit crisis. So we're happy to do our part and get this approved. So what we've put out there, it's going to be an 11-month intensive program that focuses on the field experience. So one of our driving goals was, how do we break down barriers for current educators to remain in special education with the switch we all know about coming up for the emergency permit criteria. Also, outside of our folks already working in special ed, how do we engage other members of our educational society here in Indiana to want to add on a special education endorsement to their license, both for their career and the benefit of other students? So a lot of things are in the hopper here for this program. We're very excited about some of the nuts and bolts of this. Again, it'll be an 11-month program. We will start out with a 3 to 5 day intensive summer boot camp that will be in person. We're a little bit fluid on that date yet. That's why it's 3 to 5 days, depending on how many applicants we get. That'll drive the amount of days we'll need to be in session. So stay tuned for that. And then the 11-month piece, that is going to be a monthly full day Zoom. That's also going to be intensive. And that's going to be led by field experts through Icase that have been directors for many years, have an effective or highly effective rating, and really have that field content knowledge to help our people in the Asset program become licensed special education teachers and set them up for a quality career.
Wow, this is amazing and really innovative. Like, I'm really trying to wrap my mind around this because it's so new and so different than what we've done before. So I'm hearing you say this is for educators that already have a license in Indiana. Any content area, Joe?
Yes, if you're an art teacher and you have a passion for working with students with exceptional needs, we want to talk to you. So fill out your application. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You mentioned the innovation here. So one of the things we're truly excited about is that we feel this is going to start a national movement for how we can, again, break down barriers to keep people in education. Indiana, with Icase, is the first state to offer this in the nation. So candidates can get on board and be a part of something that's truly innovative, groundbreaking, and pretty exciting. Again, being the first one to do something is always quality. And we're excited to lead this charge through Icase, Angie.
Yeah, that's awesome. Why did Icase get involved in this, Joe? What was the kind of reasoning behind this?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question too. Last year we learned of the change in the emergency permit criteria that was coming up. Icase, in looking at the data, saw that there are over 1,200 special education emergency permits currently functioning in the state right now. So our drive was, how do we be a part of the solution to keep as many of those licenses working in the field now, working in the field next year and beyond? So we sat down with the state's chief of staff, and we sat down on a Zoom, and we had conversation about, how can Icase help? We want to be at the table with you. How can we offer solutions? And they said, well, give us your creativity, put together a program, and we'll go through the process and see what we can do, which led to the initial Asset application. There was a long process of presentations, revisions, presentations again, and finally State Board of Ed approval. So it was about a 6 to 7 month process from that conversation to initiation of the approval for our program. So again, we wanted to be a solution, not somebody sitting there hoping we find additional licenses, right? So that's the drive. How do we make it accessible for our educators, and how do we provide solutions to the field?
I love it. I love it. And I heard you talk about removing barriers. I believe you
Yes.
mentioned the barriers of time and money. So if
Yes.
I or one of my teachers, somebody is an interested candidate, what are the two main barriers that this asset program removes?
Sure. Yeah. I kind of go back to my own experience. I wasn't a guy who loved going to school. I didn't love college. I didn't love any program I've been in. I love working in schools, though. So the dynamic is very ironic in my personal journey. So, and also, I'm a father. So I look at it, if you're a single father, a single mother, or a busy mother, a busy father, I've got children. Many of our educators have children. It's hard for you to set aside time away from ball games and life to go to a program. It's not for everybody. So say you had to go to an institute of higher ed for your licensing. I probably wouldn't engage in that at this point in my life, and I'd be lost to the field as a special educator. So we wanted something for those people to have an option to still get their license add-on and remain in a program to remain working in the field of special education. So that's the timing barrier. So all this happens during your normal workday. There's no commitment outside of the normal workday that you're already contracted for. So that was barrier number one we broke down. Barrier number two is cost. All of us are pinching pennies these days to try to make ends meet and run a quality lifestyle at home and keep our fiscal side at home as strong as it can be. So we wanted to give an option that's not going to cost anybody anything to get the license add-on. So we've worked hard with partners from the State Department of Education and other practical partners out there to bring this at no cost to our candidates.
That's amazing. So at no cost to candidates within the workday, which preserves that work-life balance. Amazing.
Yes.
Talk to me about quality. What about the standards that this might be aligned to? Because I want to make sure it's a quality program too.
Sure. Yeah. That was a driving force behind the scenes for us at Icase here. We didn't want to just put something out to put a stamp on a license and say you're a special educator now, right? Because at the end of the day, we're still going to be the director for folks who come through this program. So what we did is we took a look at what are the core competencies to be a quality special educator out there. And we found ourselves aligning to the CEC standards in every conversation we had. So we just made that as our platform and aligned everything we're going to do to the CEC standards out there. On top of that, we have also allowed some time for local development too. So what does your director need you to know about how to operate Indiana IEP? How do you get paperwork submitted? How do you keep a healthy work-life balance and don't get mentally strained? So while we're aligned to the CEC standards for most of our practical teachings, there's also time in there for that local stuff too that we all need to get out. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks. It's good to know that there's also a quality component. Okay. Well, this has been a really great overview. I know that on the Icase website, there's more information, more links, and we'll be adding more as we go. So while we're wrapping up this here, why don't you tell me how people can get engaged and how they can apply?
Okay. Yeah, great. So if you're interested if you're interested at all, I'd say apply, right? You never know how something goes until you apply and go through, right? So if you log on to our website, it's icase.org/asset, ASSET. That'll take you to our page where you can find the link for the application. And once in there, it becomes pretty self-explanatory. There's a couple of things you need to gather, like a letter of support from your director, your current teaching license. We got to verify you have that, right? We need your evaluation, and there's a couple other small things you need on there. So nothing that is earth shattering to gather. Most of this you probably have sitting on your desk or in a file right there handy. So again, we wanted to make it convenient to apply. Once we get that, we will start rallying our first cohort here with our total numbers, and we'll have a little more direction on the specific date for when we're going to start in July, which will be our first intensive boot camp there. But after the application is received, it really is a pretty simple process. After that, we get you in. We do everything we can to get you experience as a quality educator in special education and get you ready to pass the praxis once it's time.
Wow, that's amazing. And I would say, if somebody's unsure if this fits for them, go ahead and apply, right? That we'll consider unique and individual situations. Our whole goal here is to remove barriers. And so if anybody's thinking like, would this work for me? Would this work for my teacher down the hallway friend? That they should definitely insert their application and connect with us. So awesome. Very good. Well, as we wrap up here, any last comments, Joe?
No, I would just stress what you just pointed out. If you are at all interested, apply. This goes to our general education peers out there as well. What better way to learn how to work better with students with exceptional needs than to go through a program free for a license add-on? it can never hurt to get this type of knowledge base in any venue that you're teaching at in public education. So we encourage you to apply. If you're somebody who's moving to Indiana, again, as Angie said, we'll work through the reciprocal license process. Don't let that be a barrier. If it's reasonable, we're going to figure out a way to make it happen as a bottom line. So we want you to come here if it's a good fit. There's also other options out there. You know, if you don't know of ICEAL, check that out as well. We can help find the right spot for you. We're all about best fit for candidates. So if Asset is it for you, we'd love to have you. And if you have questions, I'd encourage you to reach out at any time, and I'd be happy to chat.
All right, very good. And as we wrap this up, I just need everybody listening to know that this idea was born here from Joe Quiz, and he's worked with the Icase team to develop it. And so, Joe, we appreciate you and your innovative thinking and ways to remove barriers so that we have quality special education teachers in Indiana. Thank you so much for your leadership with this.
Well, I appreciate that, but there's also a lot of teamwork that goes into this final product. So don't let Angie sell herself either. Angie and Pam, our past presidents, have been wonderful to work with, and many others. So we're just happy to be able to offer this.
All right, candidates, apply today. Icase.org/asset. We're looking forward to receiving your application. Thanks for your time, Joe.
Yep. Have a good day.